Hello, my friend. I'm so excited to dive into this week's podcast episode for you on this week's astrology. Oh my goodness. If you are watching this on YouTube, you can tell that I am now having a video podcast. I'm going to really try to do this, yet honestly, it can be really tricky for me. So cross your fingers for me that this works out well. And I'm excited to dive into what the transits of the week mean for you. I will also be going through just my story of why manifestations might not be coming through, my perspective on this, and hopefully it helps you to see what's blocking you in terms of getting the things you actually really want. I will end off this podcast episode with a tarot reading of what energy to embrace, what energy to let go of. So let's just dive right into it. Starting off with January 26th. Now, this is really lovely. We have Mercury in Capricorn sextile the North Node in Pisces. Now, I'll be checking my notes for this. Yet, this transit is really helping us think about our long-term future and what would give us the most fulfillment. This is very supportive. We are thinking about our spiritual goals. We're looking to see what would actually make us feel differently about our path forward. This is bringing together your vision for this year, but also perhaps years in advance. And how can you really just dream bigger with this energy? I love this energy. I think you might get some intuitive downloads. This is also really good if you have a business. This is really lovely for this. And it could just help you goal set, but also imagine what kind of future you want to take place when it comes to growing your business, when it comes to getting the goals and achieving the goals that you set out for. So take advantage of this transit. Then on January 28th, we have Mercury entering Aquarius. This is a very interesting energy. I personally love Mercury in Aquarius. With this, we are really thinking about how can we show up for our community? How can we communicate more with our friends? You might have friends on your mind even more so with this energy. Mercury is the planet of thinking and communication. So with it being in the sign of Aquarius, we're trying to think differently. We're trying to really take a step back and understand, okay, how can I look at this perspective in a different way? There's this urge for deep conversations with this energy. And I also see this as us really looking forward to the future of, okay, Mercury in Capricorn can make us a little bit more grounded and is really helpful for building those systems and structures. And Mercury in Aquarius does do this, yet in a completely different way. We're looking to see, okay, how can we embrace the socialness of our community? How can we connect more with the people we care about? But also, how can we be not afraid to be different and weird and out there? This is honestly a really lovely time to read mindset books, to really look at things in a different way. And this could be doing meditations, this could be reading things that you're really curious about. I really see this as diving into topics that are a bit more taboo, such as astrology or tarot, if you're listening to this. Yet it could also be what kind of field of study looks different for you. Then on January 29th, we have a new moon in Aquarius. All right, this is a very powerful new moon in Aquarius. It is happening at 9 degrees of Aquarius, rounded up, I would say 10 degrees. And it's happening at 7:35 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This one is super interesting. We have this beautiful trine to Jupiter in Gemini. And when I say this, it looks very lucky, it looks very opportunistic. This looks like having an abundance of relationships or I would more so say friendships and coming together with your community in a very lovely, nurturing way. This looks like really having this expansion when it comes to your communication. Perhaps this is the time when you do more communication work. Maybe you're recording podcast episodes or putting content out there. This is a really lovely time for that. Yet, I also see this energy as us banding together and connecting in a deeper way for what kind of communication do we want for our future. When we think of the TikTok ban, that, was this jump scare type situation, I see that as us really understanding that our communication, our tie together, is instrumental to our future. And I want to highlight, going back to the TikTok ban, that I don't think this is the end of the story. I'm sorry to say that. We do have to consider Mars is retrograde in the sign of Cancer, and that storyline is going to be continued until February 24th, and that will be the end of the Mars retrograde. So I think we're going to get more updates around what this TikTok ban actually means, more clarity on this. But also, when we think of that exact degree that Mars was in, we're going to have a similar situation and more clarity on April 4th, 2025. So please keep this in mind. I'm stating these dates because I honestly filmed a reel on this, yet I deleted it once TikTok came back because I want us to really consider the importance of our connection to our community and what this means for us. Now, I also want to state that because Jupiter is retrograde in the sign of Gemini, this is also us kind of pulling back on our connections. This could also look like taking some space away from certain connections because there's a need for growth in terms of growing your community. So keep this in mind. Now, what's really prominent in this new moon chart is we have Mars retrograde in the sign of Cancer squaring Chiron in Aries. This is uncomfortable. This is healing, but uncomfortable. And this can bring up some old wounds when it comes to our sense of worthiness, when it comes to our independence, when it comes to what we truly want for ourselves, being seen. And I will say, this can stir up some things. This can bring back some triggers, and it's coming back for us to heal. This is part of a storyline where we are kind of reflecting on, is there a way to act differently? What do you need to do differently when it comes to your reactions? We're kind of still processing a lot with the Mars retrograde in Cancer, and I want to reflect on Mars is traditionally very uncomfortable in the sign of Cancer. It's in fall in the sign of Cancer, meaning that it doesn't love being in the sign. So when we're thinking of this during this Mars retrograde that will last until February 24th, we have to consider that we're kind of really figuring out things and what feels best for our intuition, what feels best for our home, what feels best for our inner security in the sign of Cancer. We're emotionally processing things as we act them out. And this is why things are still quite delayed. This is why we could feel like things are taking a lot longer than expected. So keep this in mind. Yet with this square, if old triggers come up for you or old wounds come up for you, look at this as an opportunity to heal deeper. Look at this as this opportunity to see what still needs to be processed. Try not to be super reactive during this time, whatever you can do to really give yourself space to cry things out if that happens for you. If you feel overly emotional, please keep this in mind. Now, the ruler of this new moon is Saturn in Pisces. And Saturn in Pisces is still conjunct Venus in Pisces. It's honestly a wider conjunction, meaning that we'll still see a little bit of this Venus energy, which is super lovely. We'll still see a bit of that Venus energy in terms of really valuing our systems and structures, and also trying to think about what we need to change. How can we set up a new structure for ourselves, especially when it comes to our community, our creative pursuits, our creative partnerships, as well as our spiritual connections, our spiritual rituals, and what are we intuitively called to do? What fulfills you? What is better for you? I also see themes of sleep coming up for this. I also see themes of our connection to our subconscious mind and how we are trying to better our mental health with this transit. Now, what is really lovely about this is Saturn is also in this sextile to Uranus in Taurus. Venus is also in a sextile to Uranus in Taurus. So this is really lovely when it comes to unexpected insight, when it comes to our systems and structures. This is shaking things up for us in a way that actually will be beneficial for our future. So I see potentially some new technology coming out during this time, especially because this is a new moon in Aquarius, but there's this energizing feeling with that sextile to Uranus. It's interesting because the modern day ruler of Aquarius is Uranus, and because there's this conversation with the traditional ruler of Aquarius, Saturn, and Uranus, which is the modern day ruler, this is supportive. This is supportive. This is us understanding, okay, what needs to change when it comes to our traditional systems and structures. I also see this as getting some breakthroughs around money, our self-worth, our self-value, and our physical possessions. This is super, super lovely. Maybe we're trying to connect deeper in terms of attracting more money. This could also look like understanding our subconscious beliefs when it comes to feeling worthy of more. We could also see that trigger with Chiron and Aries and how we kind of are being activated during this time. So just know that this can still feel like a bit of an emotional new moon, yet because of that lovely, lovely support with that trine to Jupiter, I see us being very uplifted with this energy. I see us being very optimistic and in a place where we're kind of reflecting on, no, we have each other, we have community, and community is going to be the gift of this new moon. Now, what's also happening in this new moon chart is Mercury is conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. So these are some very intense conversations happening this day. You could feel like a secret is revealed. You could feel as though something is exposed and you're getting some new information. I will say to be careful of being very obsessive during this energy because we could tend to swing towards that when Pluto is involved. This could feel like a lot. So please be cautious of this. Yet this is ultimately going to help us transform our communication and what this looks like for us. It's funny, I'm saying this, and if you're watching this on YouTube, then you can see that I am transforming how I'm communicating in terms of this podcast. Now, I also want us to be aware that Neptune in Pisces is conjunct Venus in Pisces and also conjunct the North Node in Pisces during this time. So we have a lot of planets in both Aquarius and Pisces. This is making us a bit more emotional and sentimental with the people we love, the people we care about, but also society in general. And with Neptune conjunct the North Node, we could really use this as an opportunity to tune into our vision for the future and do something more creative. You could potentially use this energy to meditate or to journal and understand, okay, what do I truly desire and how can I get closer to that energy? Now, because this new moon is in the sign of Aquarius, this is a brand new beginning when it comes to our technology, our community, and our dreams, our goals, and our ambitions. And if you want to actually use this new moon to manifest and dive deeper into your manifestation practice, then you can come join me and the Moon Sign Creative Community for our New Moon in Aquarius event. It's going to be so much fun. We are setting these intentions. I have a curated ritual specifically for this new moon to help you understand how to connect to your manifestation practice in a deeper way, but also how to amplify your manifestations in community, because energetically, when you manifest in community, it gets amplified by the people you're around. So I'm super, super excited for this event. Honestly, I don't feel like enough people know the benefits of a community. And for myself, I know community has saved me time and time again. Community has really gotten me through some dark times, especially if you feel like certain people in your life don't really understand where you're coming from. I know my community is very specific to spiritual entrepreneurs, to creatives, and to people who really love astrology and tarot and value self-growth and self-expression. This is why connecting with people who really value the same things as you can feel very healing and can really benefit your mental health, can benefit your manifestation practice, but also just help you feel connected in a way that allows you to be seen and heard and validated. So we'd love to see you if you're interested in that. It's on January 30th. It's going to be so much fun. Now on January 30th, we have Uranus and Taurus turning direct. And this is a huge epiphany. This can stir things up, and this is ultimately helpful when it comes to us understanding our relationship to our money, our self-worth, and our self-value, but also understanding our relationship to our material possessions and what we think is safety to us. So with this, I think we're going to get some lovely breakthroughs when it comes to these areas of life for you, but also understanding, okay, I need to change something. I do see this as a signal in your life to do something different and to really get that insight as to what needs to change in my life. January 30th is also the exact day that the sun will be trine to Jupiter. So you might feel that optimistic energy when it comes to your connections and your friends and your community that day. Now on February 1st, we have the exact conjunction of Venus and Neptune. And Venus conjunct Neptune in the sign of Pisces is very dreamy. This can feel, honestly, very magical and very creative. This is a beautiful day to make art, to work on creative projects, to enjoy art in a museum, or to go to a sound bath or do something that's very spiritual. This is also a great day for a date if you're dating someone. Yet I will say, because of this conjunction, money situations can feel a little bit more confusing. So keep that in mind if you need to do your taxes or you need to really sort out your budget. This might be a bit of a confusing day to do that. This is also a bit of a confusing day for love and showing love. So even though it's a nice day for a romantic date, it could also be a bit overwhelming where you might not be clear around someone's intentions if you're newly dating someone or you're just meeting someone for the first time. So this is some rose-colored glasses type energy, so be cautious of this. I would say to be discerning if you're newly dating someone, especially because Mars is still retrograde in the sign of Cancer. So honestly, I don't highly recommend dating during this time. Yet if you do, just take things slow. You can still date, you can still meet someone amazing, but I would highly recommend to wait a few days and to actually wait until after Mars retrograde ends before committing to someone. So those are our major transits of this week with that beautiful new moon in Aquarius. I'm super, super excited for it. And I also want to go into why your manifestations might not be coming in on this week's episode, because I think it's a very interesting perspective. If you feel like you've been manifesting, you've been setting intentions, yet you're not seeing the results of what you truly desire. If you feel like you've been trying to vision board your way to your manifestations, but they're not coming in, there might be a block. And we're gonna dive into what this kind of means for you. Yet, the first thing I want to chat about is our beliefs and our subconscious beliefs. So, if you have any limiting beliefs in your life, perhaps this is I don't believe I'm worthy of making more money, or I don't believe I'm worthy of receiving this love from a romantic partner, or I don't believe that my person exists in this world. For example, this is your subconscious blocking your manifestations. And for myself, I've been trying to work on this really for the last few years. Yet, what's really helped me in this process is understanding, okay, where does this belief stem from? How can I rewrite this? And what is the more positive belief? Now, the problem is a lot of limiting beliefs that you have can be blocks energetically within your body if you do not know how to clear it. This is what we really dive into during full moon events in the Moon Sign Creative community. Yet, what has really helped me personally is EFT tapping, but also overnight affirmations to reprogram your subconscious mind. Because what you really want to do is have more positive beliefs when it comes to understanding what you truly believe. And this might take some time because to rewire your subconscious mind, you need to repeat that belief. It is also easier for your body to accept a belief when you're sleeping. This is why overnight affirmations are so helpful in terms of this. I've created some free overnight affirmations. If you want to check that out, I'll link that to this video. Yet this has honestly helped me so much. I'm planning to create more of these because it's been a game changer in terms of my confidence, in terms of my beliefs, and it's helped me attract more amazing friendships in my life. It's helped me attract more money in my life. So I really hope it helps you because it is something to really work through. Yet doing this and making sure you're purging those energetic blocks are going to be so important. So this could look like different things. I've tried hypnosis, which has been helpful for me in the past, yet I personally love doing meditations because I try to visualize things, and that really helps me believe in a personal future and what I truly want for the future and what that looks like. Now, what most people don't tell you is sometimes your affirmations are wrong, right? And this is very, very important. The words you tell yourself are going to be the things that you remember. And even when people try to create affirmations, I see this in a way where people are repeating certain phrases, yet it's still not registering for them. And this is because you have to really be specific about the words you use. So, for example, a common famous money manifestation affirmation is money flows to me easily and effortlessly. The problem is sometimes your brain would register effort in that, right? So you want to make sure you're using words that don't have any negative connotations that can be extracted from it. So instead of money comes to me easily and effortlessly, you can say money flows to me easily and naturally, or money flows to me easily and every day. Can you see the difference? Can you see the difference? It's honestly very impactful, just that one simple affirmation. So making sure you're doing this for all the affirmations you tell yourself are going to be so important. And the thing is, if you don't believe a certain affirmation, it might take some time. You might have to really work with it. So sometimes what I really love doing is saying, it's possible for me to receive money every day. If you don't believe, for example, you will receive money every day, you could say, it's possible for me to receive money every day, because that's a belief that is easier to accept and embed into your life. Now, the third thing that is very important to consider with manifestation is your self-image and self-concept. So this is so important. I honestly really believe this has helped me so much in the last few years. This is understanding that who you are is a reflection of your beliefs and vice versa. You have to be the person you want to be in order to receive the manifestations you want. What does that person do? What does that person believe? So for example, if you want to be a person who makes, let's say, $500,000, you have to kind of put yourself in those shoes and understand, okay, what do they believe about themselves? How do they show up every day? What does this look like? How do they take care of their health? Do they work out every day? Do they go to the gym? Do they walk every day? Do they have amazing, supportive friends? Do they have a community of entrepreneurs? Do they have all these things? Because that's going to help you so much when it comes to creating the life of your dreams, when it comes to receiving your manifestations. I think one of the biggest things people struggle with self-image is they tell themselves they're not a consistent person. And this is a limiting belief you really need to let go of. For me, I am a very lucky person. I see this a lot with my Jupiter sign, my Jupiter in Leo. And again, your Jupiter sign is the luckiest part of your chart. So I always love referring to Jupiter for this. Yet understanding that if you feel like you're not confident, or if you feel like you are not consistent, that is going to greatly affect your manifestations coming in. Because I think the biggest misconception with manifestation is you don't have to put any action towards it, which is the last point of this. Yet this is stemming from a belief. This is stemming from maybe perhaps a fear of success, or a fear of failure, or a fear of judgment, or a fear that you weren't consistent before, so how can you be consistent now? I always recommend to start with something that you do every single day that you're already consistent with, and add on what you really want to manifest into that. So, for example, if you want to manifest a trip to Hawaii, this could be looking at a photo of Hawaii every day. This could be saving up maybe $10 every day for your trip to Hawaii. This could look like different things, but it's staying consistent in the everyday that is going to help you reach your manifestation goals. And I will also say that this is really interesting to consider with the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo, because the South Node in Virgo is us releasing that things have to look a certain way, or to be overly critical or judgmental or perfectionistic about how things should look like. However, it's using the strengths of Virgo, which is communication, and understanding how to utilize that in terms of our beliefs to reach that Pisces point in our charts. I go through this so much more in depth in my courses, yet I will say you should check out my free 2025 workshop. By the time this comes out, I would have already finished it, so you'll have the link to that if you want to understand the major transits of 2025. This is completely free, yet I want us to really embrace that North Node in Pisces, because that is us really envisioning and imagining a more empathetic future, a future where we're all connected, a future where we're really looking at how can we connect with people overseas? How can we do something more creative, more fulfilling, more soulful? So this is a really important part of manifestation. And going back to that action step that people often forget. If you feel like you're not consistent, ask yourself, okay, what are you consistent with? Because oftentimes you are consistent with something. You just have to focus on that. And that is the biggest hack, honestly, in manifestation, is focusing on what is working for you. And this is why using your Jupiter sign is perfect for this, because Jupiter is the planet of luck, expansion, opportunities, growth, and wisdom. It really represents our beliefs. So knowing your secret strengths in your birth chart can help you attract more opportunities in your career. I go through this so much more in depth in my Maximize Your Magnetism course, activating your Jupiter signs for opportunities and growth. Yet, I want you to consider for using Jupiter, if you're using it in a way that helps you feel more excited and uplifted and energized, or are you feeling burnt out and exhausted and overwhelmed? Because that is the dark side of Jupiter. And honestly, I really love Jupiter because I think it's a really important part of our charts, but it's really understanding how to use your Jupiter sign, because ultimately if you're activating it in a way that makes you feel exhausted or overwhelmed, then you have to kind of go back and be very intentional with how you activate it. I go through this so in depth in my course, especially in terms of the sign that your Jupiter sign is in and the house that Jupiter is in for you. I will also be doing a live Q&A on this course. Come join me on February 6th for this if you want me to pull up your chart and really talk about your specific Jupiter sign. Now, what's really, really great about this course is Jupiter changes signs every year. So students get to come back to this course because you get lifetime access to this course, and you get to understand, okay, how can I best use the energy of Jupiter moving into Cancer this year for my personal chart? So I go through this in depth in the course if you want to really utilize it for this year to make it the luckiest year of your life. Yet, honestly, it's been such a game changer for myself because it's helped me manifest so much in my life. It's helped me manifest, I would say, 26K in funding when I went to do my master's. It's helped me manifest dream trips when I went to my dream trip to Lisbon last year. It's helped me manifest amazing growth-oriented friends and more clients, and also just growth on social media, which has honestly been life-changing for my business because of TikTok. I'm at 70K on TikTok right now, so you can really see this change with Jupiter energy when you're able to activate it. I have Jupiter in Leo in the 11th house for reference. So I hope to see you for the live Q&A, and I can pull up your birth chart. And if you can't make it live, just submit a question and I'll still pull up your birth chart for that. So I really hope this conversation on manifestation has been helpful for you. It's been something that I really had to learn through experience, and it's really helped me understand how I can better help others in terms of their manifestation practice and how I can better my rituals, but also understanding that it's a practice, right? Manifestation is a practice. You're constantly manifesting. And the more intentional you are every single day through your communities, through what you do every day, journaling every day. I know personally I journal just what I'm grateful for every single day because that amplifies your energy, that raises your vibration, and that's going to help you attract more of what you want in your life. Now, let's get into your tarot reading for this week. So I did pull cards already, yet now you get a chance to see the cards, which is really, really lovely, honestly. The first card out is the Magician card, and I love this card, honestly. I thought it was so perfect. When I pulled it, I'm like, I knew the topic was going to be manifestation, but when I pulled it, this is so on point for this week, for this new moon in Aquarius, trine Jupiter. This is super lovely. This is us really speaking into existence what we want in our life, what we want more of. This is having conversations around your manifestations, around how can you actually see yourself as a creator? How can you step into that version of yourself that is empowered, that is excited and uplifted? I love this energy so much. This is great for this week. We also got the Temperance card. Now, this is interesting. I see this as us really balancing out our energy. There's something where if you felt like the last week was very chaotic, because it was, this is a card of slowing down, of understanding that there needs to be a balance. There needs to be something that you intuitively need to take action on. I'm hearing this message of pulling back a bit and not overextending yourself, taking breaks, but then also if you feel like you've had an intuitive message to do something and you've been delaying it, this might be the week that you do it. I am kind of hearing that. I also see this as you listening to your intuition more so of, okay, what is the bigger purpose for my life? What is my bigger calling? I see this with the North Node activation, especially for this new moon in Aquarius. And this is really important because it's only recently that the North Node moved into the sign of Pisces. So I think we're kind of feeling this major shift in terms of our collective energy towards more spiritual pursuits and collective pursuits, but also what we want emotionally, how we're taking care of our emotions in a better way. How can you do that? The next card out is the Justice card. So I see this as perhaps you feel like something's not fair, and this is going to be a week where you're not going to understand fully the story. Yes, secrets will be revealed with Mercury conjunct Pluto this week. Yet I also see this week as you're not getting the full story yet, and this is because Mars is still retrograde. Yet this is a week where you could see that she has a curtain behind her, so she's going to unveil something that is huge, right? And we're having conversations this week of what's behind that curtain. But I see this as you needing to make some hard decisions. I'm sorry to say. There might be a hard decision you make this week, yet it will pay off, right? Remember, karma is real, right? Saturn is karma. Karma is real, and you're going to see this more this week, especially because Saturn is the ruler, traditional ruler of this new moon. I asked us what our block is this week, and we got the Devil reverse. So I'm seeing this as we have to release some toxic attachments. We have to release codependency. We have to release, I see this as doing some shadow work and releasing the idea things have to look a certain way, or releasing the idea that you can only be happy if you're with someone. I'm hearing that message. That's not true. Releasing the belief that it's not for you, you're not good enough, you're not worthy. We're releasing all these toxic, hard, difficult, limiting beliefs this week, right? This is a challenge. We're still purging a lot from the past. Pluto likes to purge. So with that Pluto activation this week, we're seeing this more fully. But I also see this as us letting go of control, right? Sometimes we don't want to let go of control, but this is a week where we have to do that. We have to take a step back and really let go. And that's going to be hard to do. So I asked us, okay, what would help us reach that step? We got the Knight of Pentacles. So I love this card. This is very supportive. This is stable things you do every single day. Having conversations around planning for the future, being consistent, showing up for yourself, be reliable to yourself. The first step to do is making sure you're doing the things you say you're going to do for yourself. I'm hearing that message, especially when we talk about manifestation too. If you are saying you're going to go to the gym, but you're not going to the gym, you're really not building your self-trust. So you need to build your self-trust this week. And this is a week to prioritize that. Prioritize doing small things every day. Even if you can't do a full hour, for example, at the gym, this could be, honestly, 10 minutes you showed up, right? And doing that is going to help so much. It's going to help so much. But showing up for yourself, doing your best work, putting in that effort, even if it's hard, right? Doing the hard work, knowing it can be easy, it can get easier, things can grow exponentially, but you still have to show up. You still have to do some work, right? Very important with the manifestation practice. Now, your oracle cards are gratitude. So honestly, lean into this energy. That's going to amplify your manifestations. That's going to make you feel good. The feeling behind your manifestation is so important, so important. The second card out is nourish. So make sure you're taking care of your body, you're eating delicious food that's healthy, you are honestly showing up for yourself and taking care of yourself, getting that rest you need, sleeping well. That's very important. So remember this. The last oracle card out is clarity of mind. So I do think we're going to get some really good breakthroughs with Uranus turning direct this week. This is going to help so much. However, I will say we're not going to get the full story. We're still not going to get the full story. We're going to get some information this week, not as much as we would like, yet still very important to consider. Take this in, and this is going to help you with what you need to do to move forward. Now, I did pull a card from the Cosmic Magic Oracle deck. Honestly, my friend Valerie Tehega created this deck. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful oracle deck, so I highly recommend it. And the card I pulled is the Water card. This is gorgeous. There's a beautiful whale. If you're listening to this on Spotify, there's a beautiful whale here, and honestly, I see this as us tuning into our emotions, feeling the feeling of the manifestations you want to call in, to call more of that in. So if you want to feel loved, making sure you know you love yourself first, making sure you feel that feeling first, right? It can be hard to sometimes access, but the more you practice through meditation, through journaling, through doing things that are good for your body, getting those endorphins that, are healthy, of course, such as working out or going for a walk or really taking care of your body, dancing, for example, that's going to help so much. But I really see this as us tuning into our intuition and tuning into how we feel, because that's going to give us so much clarity and that's going to help us move forward. So I really hope this helped, friend. I really hope it helped. If you'd like a private reading with me, you could book for February. I now have a few spots left for birth chart readings in February. I think I only have 4 by the time of this podcast episode, so you can book below and take advantage of that. I won't have any readings in March, so now's your chance to do that. And if you want to really become luckier in 2025 and really activate your Jupiter sign for opportunities and growth in your career, check out my Maximize Your Magnetism course and join me for the live Q&A happening in February. It's going to be so good. Honestly, take advantage of the sale. And I hope you enjoyed this, friends. Please leave a comment down below if you're watching this on YouTube. if you'd like me to do more videos, or if anything resonates with you, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I love to hear what resonates with you. I love to hear if this has helped you, because it helps me make more content. It helps me put more energy out there so I could help more people through their healing journey through astrology. Thank you so much for watching. Just remember, the universe has your back, and peace and love. Take care.